Alright guys, hold on, let me center my little screen out here. Alright, so hope everyone can hear me. I think I'm good. I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of an update here on what's going on. I guess today we're looking at, I think we're about just 1 day short of 2 weeks left in the election. So the ballots got to be, don't forget, first thing is the 25th. You got everyone that's out there who got a ballot, you have to double check, make sure you're in good standing by next Friday. So like I told you before, they're going to run the ballots are going to go through. If you're not in good standing, they're going to pull them, they're going to run them again on the 25th. If you don't show up in good standing, your vote's not going to count. And all the ballots have to be back by 5 o'clock on the 30th. So keep in mind, get that ballot in there. Listen, guys, if you have that ballot in your hand and you're running late and you got to send it registered mail, it's going to cost you a couple of dollars. But listen, there's nothing more important than your pension, your annuity, and what's going on out there. And I just hope you all take this serious. You know, we're in serious times. You know, I know there's an issue with AAA with getting your copy of your ballots that are out there. So call that number. You got to request a new ballot. They're going to ask you some information about UBC and your address, so get that all verified. If you're having any issues, there's a number to call. You could also email Glenn McGordy's office. He's the election monitor. If there's a problem, you could email me, text me, reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with whoever you need to get in touch with. We'll expedite anything to make sure you're getting in contact with the right someone and you're getting documented as far as getting your ballot set. So basically, we, you know, hold on, sorry guys, I'm about to look at some information. So guys are just asking some questions, you know, about the issues at hand, you know, on what was really affecting us. The stipulation in order, the way they did this, they did it very backwards. You know, they didn't include the membership march. They put everything in the right letters, but the letters had to be sent to the executive board, which I didn't like the way it was being done back that. Back in the day, we got to speak directly to the judge. We had a forum, we came in and spoke. They bypassed that to try to keep everything. That's what Barbara Jones is there for. Their agenda is to get rid of this, and the agenda to get rid of it is to have power to do what they want to do. You know, like the ways they raised the assessment, it was all, you know, it was all propaganda, right? We all went to meetings. Anthony McDade, our local, they did a whole thing, and they said we had to vote the whole thing on the assessment at the last minute. They're going through like an hour and a half or 2 hours of him reading things into it, and if it was a no, then we would be there another 3 hours going across it. Clearly, they didn't want to even do a division of the House or nothing. It was ayes have it, and that was it. Even though you could clearly hear across the room it was nay, 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 nay. But they approved it. They got them their 2% and increased their assessment, which, you know, I think it's about $200 a week out of everyone's check. You know, it's a big hit. It's a lot of money, especially for, you know, when you're considering what they're really doing for us. You know, a lot of guys that were hired down there, they were put in there and placed in it. 3 days a joke. When anyone who's taken the class understands who it is. I mean, I knew a list of people that was told getting hired, and those are the people that got hired. Yeah, they want rubber stamps. They want guys in this. Same thing when they hire most of these delegates. They want guys that are going to play well. You know, they don't. If you're going to have everyone voting the way they're supposed to vote on a delegate, you're not going to have anyone that has an independent mind. You know, why have 20, 30 delegates, right? Why not just have 2, right? If everyone's just going to vote the way Paul tells them to vote, then why have all those delegates? The B rate, you know, I understood the portion of it and how they did it, but the way they rolled it out and gave the contractor full ability to put whoever they want and just hire B rate carpenters was a disgrace, right? Because Jacob said a lot of these companies put hands in papers. They were pulling B rate guys in. They were guys I met that were B rate carpenters. 1 week they were working for Costco, next day they're B rate carpenters. I met a lot of apprentices that were really disgruntled because you're second or third year apprentice and they have you teaching the B-rate guy what to do, and the B-rate guy is making more than you. You know, also by doing that, you extended the apprentices their time, right? You're making them do the 10,000 hours now. I also believe that the hours you put in the school should count towards those 10 hours, right? We're going to take a B-rate carpenter and any of his hours that he has a paycheck stubs will count towards his hours. If an apprentice is putting time in there, that should count. Just like I believe the hours you put in, I think it's about 160 hours a year. if you're short hours on your medical and it works within that 160 hours, we should give you money and figure out the board of trustees. I'll have to figure out how that can be done. But if you're short that short amount of hours and you in the school and you missed hours in the field because of it, we should find a way to make you whole on that. I mean, you're coming in, you're learning a trade. The economy's slow right now. That extra 160 hours can make a difference between having medical coverage or not. To me, that's a big thing. The shop stewards and cutting them out of the 39 hours. I mean, for you guys that it affected, it's probably a small group of guys that were actually probably doing that. You got to figure. I think most guys retired at 55. They're probably going to do the 39 hours until they turn 62, until their Social Security kicks in. A lot of my friends, they do the last week of the month, first week of the next month, and that's how they do it. So they get back-to-back weeks, I think is in the 39 hours, and they do it that way. Some guys that are lucky, they try to do that on the weekend, get the double time or the overtime if they can. I mean, the economy's slow right now. But, to just pull that away from our stewards was probably, you just took it away from them, right? These guys put all the time and the years in there. And, now that they're just left they can't go out. And, other guys that are out there, the stewards, nobody wants to go to a 2-day job or a 3-day job or fill in for a steward who's on vacation. So there could have been something done, I think, to figure out a way to help our retired carpenters keep their 39 hours and go out as a steward. Also, having good stewards in the field, help the young kids, learn what it's like to be a good steward. But just like our trade, right? We learn by example. So I think having good stewards out there was key. But I guess they were more worried about their bottom line or whatever deals they had played on it. With the 10,000 hours, we've increased these apprentices. Some of them are doing. It takes them 7 to 10 years now, right, to do their apprenticeship. I met some girl. She's got 28 years in the union. She's got 6 pension credits. It's crazy, right? So you say to yourself, so now you're starting out, and now when you turn 4th year, right? If you're working at the airport, these companies are getting rid of you. They don't hire B rate. I know guys that are playing a game. I'm not telling you guys what to do, and I'm a little bit against this, but people are purposely getting failed out of the 4th year, so they get to redo their 4th year, so they could stay on those jobs, make up the hours, and then hopefully by the time that 4th year's up, that second term, they'll have the 10,000 hours to jump themselves to a certified journeyman. Listen, it's it's not the right thing to do, but desperate times call for desperate measures. I get it why people, they're gonna, there's nothing saying you can't do that, right? I guess if you technically get held back, right? So I guess anyone can find a way to get held back. So that really does screw the apprentices over. It screws. Now you're gonna go those extra years. You're not getting the journeyman pension credit. You're not getting the journeyman annuity. That sets everyone back. So if you're a young guy getting in the apprenticeship program, it might not be as bad of a deal for you. But if you're a guy 28 or 30s, right? You get into business. Now they're telling you now you have the 20 credits. Back in the day it was like 10 or 15. Now it gets to 20. There's a rumor out there it's going to go to 25 credits to get your medical coverage. Listen, that has a lot to do with the economy, and how the hours are coming in. When you got people out there that aren't policing the work, right, and we're not going after the work we have, these are the consequences, right? They have to raise the assessment to make up the money, right? They have to raise the medical requirements to retire with medical, right? The less money coming in, it's the race to the bottom in some way, right? Just like I used to call PLAs and these market recoveries lazy organizing, right? We just take reductions. I believe 1 or 2 jobs in the city, we were the first ones in the door to take reductions, Big carpenters, I think that's got to stop, they sign all these non-disclosures, guys, right? Mike Roden got one, Steve McGinnis got one, Graham got one. Everyone got a non-disclosure, right? I don't know what the secret is. Why can't the members know what's going on? Like, shouldn't you know? Like, don't you have a right to know this? These guys are making decisions that are so important or will affect your entire life and your family's life. Like, if someone's done us wrong, we as members have a right to know. You have my word. If I'm elected EST, there will be no non-disclosures filed in that building. Not under my watch at all. And anyone who violated their non-disclosures, I will speak to my attorneys and I will release that information to you. So if anyone had left and broke their non-disclosure, and did business with the council or violated anything in the non-disclosure, I will check with my attorneys and I will have that information released to the membership. Because your members, every member out there has a right to know what happened, what they did, how it affected you, how it affected your work history, anything. If they're not doing their job, you have a right to know, right? We shouldn't be kept in the dark if these people did things that affected us. It's just the right thing to do, right? It's a moral thing to do. So, but what do you call it? The stuff with Mike Roden, he got caught at the golf outing at the second time. That's why they threw him out of the union. So I guess he did break the non-disclosure. So in theory, his non-disclosure is non-invalid, if you ask me. So anyone else who has non-disclosures and they broke those things, like I'm pretty positive to tell you, Mike Roden's non-disclosure will be released as soon as I get in there. I'll speak to my attorneys and I'll have all that information posted and released to everybody after the attorneys approve it, of course. So they have certain guidelines they're going to do. I don't think they should be there in the first place, but we'll get into that after I get there. Anthony Mangi, he got let go, right, in Brooklyn, right? He resigned technically. There was a lot of theories on what happened. Another non-disclosure. We don't know. We don't know why. He just resigned, stepped away. Went back and put his tools on. That's something that needs to be looked into. All right. That's got to be checked out. I don't know what the details are. I'm pretty sure Rich Green did an investigation. I'm pretty sure his hands are tied on that. When I get in there, I'm taking the handcuffs off of Rich and let Rich do his job. Because there's an IG down there, and the IG should be doing his job to his fullest ability. He should be held back to doing what he thinks he is. I think Rich, I don't agree with Rich in a lot of things. Rich might not agree with me in a lot of things, but I think he should be allowed to do his job. I don't think anyone should be governing him. And if what his recommendations after he does his investigation should be kept at the highest level, to my opinion, right? That's why we have an IG. So we shouldn't be bypassing a decision if somebody has investigation skills like him. And I've spoken to Rich. Like I said, we don't agree on a lot of things. Believe me, we've had some heated arguments over the years. But seems like a decent guy to me, and I respect him. He was a cop. He did his time in the city, and he put a long career in it. And I think he's trying to do the right thing. It's hard. It's a tough position. He's not like a former cop where you can subpoena people and get people in there. So, but if he has information or something looks shady, I mean, why Angie Mangi got that non-disclosure agreement, I don't know. But I get in there, I will find out, and you guys will be the first to know. As soon as I'm allowed to tell you, you'll be the first to know. And believe me, I'll have my lawyers on that right away. If I get in there on the 14th, my lawyers will be making the call on the 15th. So, Andy Mangi, we're going to know why you resigned from the council. Well, I'll know by that Friday. I'll know that day, actually. You're the first person I'm looking at. I'm going to find out what happened and why you resigned. What else we got going on here? So, that's right. The council, out of nowhere, they ended up approving congestion pricing for the council, right? All the council reps, they all got approved at it. They pushed it on the delegate body and got it approved. Listen, guys, I've been traveling to and from work my whole life, right? I get there by train, by car, however I got to get there, motorcycle, whatever I got to do, take a train, a scooter. I figure it out. I get myself to work every day. A lot of these council guys are making well over $200,000. They get a council vehicle, they get the insurance paid for. In the situation we're in right now, and the economy and the members out of work, I think that was a ballsy move to try to get the rank and file to pick up that tab. If the congestion pricing comes back and I'm the EST, I'm going to let it be known right now, I'll be paying my own congestion pricing, and so will all you. So that's no deal. All right, my members are out there. Everyone going to work. They're paying their prices. They're paying the congestion prices. They pay the Long Island Railroad ticket. They go with. We all make good money, guys. We all work hard for our money. But listen, this is something that's being paid to the city. We're not I can't take it out. I got to take it out of members' pockets to put it in your pocket. Absolutely not. It's not happening under my watch. So I'll be paying my congestion pricing, and you'll be paying yours. So get that clear to everybody, and you have my word on it. I will go back on my word, guys. That's not going to happen. So if congestion pricing does come back for the city and they lock it all in and everything's going on, council members will not get paid. They're not going to get a free ride on that. They're already getting enough of a ride, I think, in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you can believe that. Joe Geiger's stepson, right? He was brought into the council, guys. He was put in there in a position. They took the job. They posted it as a doctoral timberman position, right? That way, only doctors of timberman could apply for the position, right? They posted a doctoral timberman position. And then what they turned around was, after he was hired, they put him in health and safety. Had they posted the job as a health and safety position, anyone from any local could have applied for the job, right? That was a quick way of Joe doing it. It was told to me when Joe was interviewed a question about it, he had no idea that his stepson was hired as a site and safety guy. From what I understand, he had no skills for the job. He was actually taking the classes with another instructor, and he was certifying him while he was taking the classes. And now he's one of the highest paid teachers in the school, which goes to figure. This is a guy that was on job sites. From what I understand, I heard stories about him from Judd Love. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys heard stories out there. Again, I don't think he was a shining star in a job. So he had basically any skills out there, but yet he was always working. We can all figure out how and why. Doesn't take a rocket ship to figure that out. The former shop steward at the Javits Center, right? He was let go. He got caught doing something wrong with the timesheets, right? Get stealing time, whatever it was. So in the process, he was. That was me and you guys. We would have been in handcuffs out the door. I understand Paul went up there and negotiated a deal for him. I don't think paid the benefits back, what the deal was, but I understand he's paying back the time he owes. But he was, I guess technically brought up in steward review. He got a letter of reprimand. I know people who had the shop steward things removed for the craziest things. He gets hired as a business agent. Go figure, right? Can't make it up, guys. It's a true story. So they put that together, right? Goes to show you the boys' club is true, bro. They still have stuff going on there. So they went to go. They're saying they're saying that the consent decree is going to stay, right? That's what they were saying. It's going to be put on the shelf in your back pocket, blah, 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 right? I read this in the last meeting, right? John Murphy, right? States right there. It'll be the final order after 1 year. The consent decree will be dissolved, guys. Dissolved. Will dissolve, right? Joe Geiger says the consent decree will remain and be on the shelf, right? Total lie, right? Total lie, guys. You can look it up right there. The delegate meetings yourself. Joe lied to you, right? So that just gives you an idea where you're going with those guys. They want to say stop the bullshit. You want to stop the bullshit, you better get a shovel and go to the 9th floor, because a lot of bullshit up on that 9th floor, guys. What else we got here? The D.C. lawyer Mary, yep, he said the delegate meeting said it superseded dissolve. That's right. He's now saying the consent decree is going to be dissolved, right? He said in the delegate meeting, so now he flip-flopped on this, because he's a flip-flopper, Paul the flip-flop, right? Called Paulie flip-flop for that one. They used to call him Paulie Green back in the day. I wonder what they call Green. What's Green a lot? Cash, right? Oh, Paulie Green. Yeah, they used to call him Paulie Green back in the day. Guy just told me that story back in the day. A company used to work. Paulie Green, they used to call him. So, Paulie Green. Paulie Cash, it was his nickname. You guys can put the words together on that one while they used to call him Paulie Cash. What other? All right, what do we got here? So, what else they got going on here? He's also saying now he's going to protect the one man, one vote, Paul, right? Yeah, go figure. I've been saying that since day one. That's one of the things I would put into the final order, right? I would put provisions in there that would make it undesirable to merge this with anybody. I don't think Barbara Jones, that's her intention. I think her intention is the reason why McCarran put her there. They were all, Barbara Jones and all of them, they all went out to Vegas. Brian Brennan has the information on that. He can speak morely about it, but they were all in Vegas together. Supposedly to go see the training school, that they never went to the training school, but they all went out there to hang out. I guess they got their roadmap and road plan of what the deal was about getting rid of this consent decree. Yeah, don't fool yourself. That's one of the reasons why Matt Walker was hired, too. He was there. He helped get rid of the consent decree for the state troopers in New Jersey. That's why he was put there. So, this has all been in play for a long time, right? So, when this all happens, there's a lot of stuff that gets swept under the rug. There's a lot of shady shit that went on for a long time. And, when this all takes place, guys, I'm telling you, there's no reset button, guys. It's a very hard thing, to get back on track. We gotta make sure people are held accountable, people are held in play, and whoever sits in that room in November and figures this out. Listen, they want to say who's experienced and not experienced. I deal with a friend of mine. I've dealt with mergers and stuff like that. A friend of hers mergers with pharmaceutical companies. I've sat in on meetings with it. I've done. I'm a licensed notary, so I've dealt with declarations and affidavits and different type of agreements that have to be signed. So I'm very diverse to that stuff and how things are handled with the attorneys. So don't let these guys fool you. We're all carpenters here, you know. I got a great networking base. I have a lot of friends of mine in law enforcement, friends with the FBI. Um, I have a lot of friends that are legal advisors for me, you know, best friends of mine that I know for a long time, own major law firms. So I've always made the right path in life, and I always know who to ask for the right questions to get the right answers. So very rarely do I make a wrong path down the wrong road because, you know, I'm not stupid. I know which way we got to go. So he will be hiring an assistant EST to charge in New York. So guys, listen to me. The bottom line is, right, if these mergers do happen, let's just look at the numbers, right? I talked to the guy from Chicago. They merged them 3 or 4 times. He's at 1,550 or 80 hours. These guys in Westchester, Jersey, they're around almost 1,600 hours. We're at 840 for a credit, you know. Now, mind you, if we don't start moving and make people do their jobs and go after these PLAs and crank up these hours, we're gonna be in a tough spot. But I think if we tighten up belts and get out there and, you know, make people accountable and push forward, I think we do have some capable guys in that council, men and women, and, you know, the right leadership and the right, you know, objective. We can push forward. We'll get things done. You know, um, it's you gotta listen. It's like going to work, right? You gotta. Someone's got to do the work, right? We know that we know the freeloaders and the guys in the corner trying to skate by and try to get around things, but some guy has to get up on the baker, get up on the ladder, and actually start swinging, right, and get the stuff done. So the days of sitting there and just letting it all hope it's going to work out are over. You know, guys, we're in the final quarter here. We can't let this slide. I think if we give them the full reins, we're gonna screw ourselves, and we're not gonna get back on path, and a lot of members will suffer. So. That's why it's important. I mean, this is up to you guys, right? I did my part. I ran out there. I put myself in the line of fire. I ran for office. You know, I got to deal with all these people and their condescending remarks to me and everything like that. But you know, it's part of it. I guess you got to deal with it. It's politics, and that's how they operate. You know, they got these little clowns that are working for them, little cheerleaders. I like to call them little cheerleaders. You know, but you know, they think they're going to get something out of them. They were made false promises. You know, a lot of those guys you see cheerleaders, you know, they become disgruntled down the road. They realize that they can't make it on their own, and, you know, they're trying to get something out of it, and then they get lied to, and, you know, they walk into the sunset. You know, like this election doesn't work out for Paul. Paul's ready to retire. Paul will walk away. And all these cheerleaders will be sitting there by themselves with their, you know, the thumb in their mouth going, what happened? What happened? You know? So, but, you know, listen, the reason I did it was for the rank and file, right? For the guys that are retired and the guys that are out there in the field and the young apprentices that are trying to earn something out there. I get it. You know, some of these guys might not get it, but I get it. I understand how hard it is to shape work. That's why I do my best to help network for you. I get in there. We'll definitely have some networking seminars, and we'll work on whether we do them on our video stuff like this or do them in person. I'll answer questions. You know, I'm going to help you guys, you know, make up business cards and make up stuff to put information on it so you could hand them out to a super or a foreman and you know, hand it to a guy walking out of job and say, give this to your foreman, you know. Just an idea. I'm just trying to think of ideas for you guys because it's hard. You can't just walk on a job site anymore and you don't know who that guy is. So, you know, for me to make a phone call for somebody, at least, you know, I call one of my friends, you know, John or Paul or Anthony, the guys, and they can make a call, and then one of you guys can at least make that number and then call the guy, and you know, you guys get an opportunity for a job. Listen, I get you in the front door, right? It's up to you to keep your job, and you know, most of the people I put to work do damn good. You know, I've helped a few people with their swag cards, right? I laid out the money for them. You guys know who you are, and she, I should say. I don't want to say it piss anybody off, girl, her, whatever. And you know, listen. I'm actually happy to be able to help, right? Not saying that, you know, by the way, everyone's paid back their money. Thank you all for your money, you know, to give it back. It was just something to help everyone out, and I get it. I felt the frustration that they had, and they wanted to do it, but it was a lot of money to lay out. You know, $500 is a lot of money to lay out when you're not working, you know. I don't know if the council could do something like that, or we could set something up, like an interest-free loan, or do something to help people out, and they could pay it back. I don't know if we could do that. But if we can't, you know, I'm not going to stop trying to help my members. So if you know, listen, if you're in a position like that and I can help you out, I'm gonna help you out because it's just the right thing to do. And if you're on a job site, guys, and you have a former worker or an apprentice, and you can help somebody out like that, do it. I'm going to tell you right now, everyone's paid me back. I never lost a penny from it. Some took a little bit longer than others. One person had to give me $50 a week so that she could pay it off. I was fine with that. Or $50 every 2 weeks. Sorry, but that's fine. I don't care. Whatever. I told her, don't struggle yourself, and she did. And she's actually, I got her a good job. She's working with a great company. She's doing phenomenal, and I'm very proud of her. I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want to put her in a spot. But that's what a union's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to help each other out, and that's supposed to separate us from other people. I think if we all take a step back and try to remember that, it'll help us move forward a little bit. So anyway, like I just said at the beginning of the thing, next Friday is the deadline to have your dues paid up to date, and then Wednesday will be the 30th. All the ballots have to be there by the 30th. You guys, I posted the information before about the who to call if we don't have the ballots in place, so make sure you get on top of that. Look at the other candidates you have down there. You see where Dave came from and what he's done when he was there. They put him in charge of the carpenter rise. He sounded like a broken recorder going back and forth. So Dave's had some sketchy things. They kept him around there. He lied on his payroll for over a year. I don't know how he got away with it. I don't know if any one of us did that on a job site, we'd be fired, right? We'd be gone. No questions asked. They made him a business agent. They made him the vice president of council after he did that. There's some other shady things that he's done down there. I don't want to get into all the details with everybody, but that's between him, his wife, and his family. I think it's a little shady, the stuff that went on down there, but whatever. Listen, that goes to show people's morals sometimes, so I don't know if that's the person we want in charge of a council, and if he can't hold himself accountable, how is he going to hold other people accountable? That's a good question to ask yourself. So, all right, so I just want to wish everybody a happy Passover because I missed that the last time. Tomorrow's Easter, so hope everyone spends some time with their family and enjoy themselves. Listen, guys, this election's just part of what the business is about. Our lives keep moving every day anyway, so we're just a blip on the radar. So we do the best we can to try to make things better for the next generation. That's all we can do, right? Leave our mark. Hopefully, leave behind what we got when we took over. Give the next kids an opportunity to make a living in the future ahead of them, and train these next kids to have a good trade and give them the insight on different opportunities in this industry, like being site safety manager, taking your OSHA certification courses. I'm a big advocate about it, getting certified, getting licenses. I think building your resume is key. It's going to help you in the future. So the sooner you start doing it, I have tons of ideas for people, which I said I'll put a tutorial together to help you guys out with stuff to get things going. So you have a plan B after this all. When you get ready to pack your bags and you retire, you can do something else, and hopefully with the right leadership and the right people to mentor you in the right direction, you'll have another path. I'm a big advocate to that because your body can only handle this work for so long. So your joints, your back, it ain't gonna last. I'm gonna be 54 this Christmas, and believe me, I feel it some mornings myself. I try to stay in shape. I still try to get to the gym as much as I can, but for the rest of us, there's a lot of it's hips, back, knees. They all start going depending on what kind of work you're doing. All right, guys, it was great speaking to you. Do me a favor, share this video if you can with as many people as you want. Make sure everyone's watching them. Call as many people as you can. Make sure those ballots are filled out. Vote the bottom line. Vote stop the merge, stop the steal, Carpenters for Accountability. And give me the opportunity to represent you guys, and I guarantee you we're going to get ourselves on the right path. All right, enjoy your Easter and Passover. Goodbye.